Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching from. Welcome back to another stream. It is the big game week we have left this season. There is no other way to put it. It is the biggest game week we have left. It is the biggest double. It is where there's going to be more chips played than any other game week between now and the end of the season. It is it is a big one. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you all so much for being here. We have got transfers to confirm of my own going into today's deadline stream. We'll be talking about your questions. We'll be looking at your teams, discussing general planning forward, what everything means going forward as well. Thank you all so much for being here. It's going to be a hectic one as well. It is also worth mentioning it is April Fool's Day in the UK, which means basically until midday there is free license for people to lie, and then they'll just say, oh, it's April Fool's. So be careful with what news you are believing that you see over on Twitter, particularly if they are from FPL sources rather than people who just generally are good sources going forward. You need to now look today when we are looking at sources about whether the person tweeting them would ruin their reputation for an April Fool's joke, or we think they're committed going forward. The big one, of course, we'll be looking out for is Erling Haaland. We did have a tweet yesterday from FPL Focal, who does have a very reliable, source. So generally that sort of news that it sounds like Haaland's not going to play today would probably be true, but if you haven't sold Haaland and you still have him, we're likely to get more concrete information about 15 minutes before the FPL deadline. So if you are still waiting to know what to do with Erling Haaland, then we will, of course, go and discuss that in just a moment. But we're already diving into the FPL stuff. Before we normally do that, we normally say a usual rounds of hellos we normally go through. So say hello in the chat. Let me know where you are watching from as well. You looking forward to the game week 29 deadline that is fast approaching. We have just under 2 hours to go. We will be live, should be live all the way up until the game week 29 deadline. So say hello in the chat. If you have not liked the stream as well, please make sure to have done that. We are close to 50,000 subscribers, which would be mental. We are 650 subscribers away. 650 subscribers away from hitting that. So if we could hit that during today's stream, I was actually going to order like those, those little things you get as those kids, those little party poppers. I was going to order them, but they didn't arrive in time. So I didn't order them in the end. Morning, Pete. How are we doing? Nice to see you in. Hopefully, are you playing tomorrow? I don't know if I'm playing, but I should be coming either way. So first time watching from Finland. Hi, good morning. Immortal, good morning. Good morning. Hello from the country of Mount Everest. Bangkok, watching from Zambia, Bangladesh. Greetings from Kenya. I've been to Kenya. The others, well, I've been to India as well, actually. Am I bench boosting? We'll get onto that in just a moment. Who else have we got? Leela, Cheekster, Cavit, The Flying Ninja, Jurassic, Bridgeton, Druev, Codmaster, Adam, Summit, Fetal, Cheekster, Brian, Gavir, Ronnie, Eddie, good morning, Tom, Adam, Prabin, Sajab, Rory, LT, good morning to all the members in the stream as well. Thank you. Of course, we do have 2 tiers of memberships. If you guys do fancy supporting the channel, there are 2 tiers. Base tier, which gets you all the perks during live streams and on videos. And then you have the more premium tier, which gets you access and sort of help all throughout the week over on Twitter as well. No bench boost available. There's going to be a lot of bench boost being played this week. I can get the stats up for you and we can do some polls in here. But let's get in and let's do some... let's just get this up first, just so I can show you. So this is a site called Live FPL, but they also have a section on chips, and I'm particularly looking at the top 10k, partly because that's where that sits, but it's also a good indication of active managers, because if you look at the overall chip usage, it's very different. So Bench Boost is the chip that most people have still not played. So you can see that on the right that only 24% of the top 10k have played their Bench Boost. And given that so many people have played their wildcard, it means that the wildcard 33, Bench Boost 34 chip strategy is going to be very unpopular. It's not going to be something many people in the top 10k are going to be doing, which makes me think that a lot of these Bench Boost, I imagine that will hit 75%. half of the top 10k, I imagine, will be playing their bench boost this week. So, I've already made 2 free transfers. So, if 2 free transfers, 1 free transfer and a -4 already. If you are watching my team selection video, first of all, thank you all very much for watching. But I said that I'd already confirmed Bruno Fernandes in and Gabriel Martinelli out. Now, last night, there were other predicted price changes, which I don't think happened. The price predictions have not been great this week. I brought in Fernandes earlier in the week when he was predicted to rise, and it didn't happen. And it still hasn't happened. Yeah, Shaw didn't rise again last night. So I could have waited for both of them to be done today, but it is what it is. Those transfers were like 90% confirmed, and as soon as I knew that they weren't injured, as soon as that press conference went, I was fine that the transfers had already been made. So that mic is quite far away. Cover your ears while I hopefully don't wreck them. Oh, that's now in shot. There we go. Yeah, so Fernandes came in and Shaw have come in for a -4. And I still might make transfers. I might stop where I am. I might make 1 transfer more. It's possible I make 3 more transfers and end up on a -16. Now, you may have seen my tweet from yesterday about how I mentioned potentially taking a -16 of transfers. And everyone thought I was joking. I wasn't joking. I don't think it's... I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to do it, but it is potential. But anyway, Isaac or Ings or Havertz. If I was buying a forward this week, I'd probably buy Isaac. So Ings, I know he doubles now and doubles again. And if you're chasing, I quite like Ings. But I'm not nailed on how many starts he's going to get. I still think Scamacca, although doesn't seem to be getting any game time, but Antonio could still get minutes. Especially... Yeah, I think I would go Isaac. Again, Havertz has Champions League coming up, and that's a bit of a concern. And it's also a concern when we look at some of the assets like... I'm losing my train of thought. Like Erling Haaland, that's the one. Let me get my tweet up that I put yesterday, and I'll explain why this. And it applies to Kai Havertz as well, because I think the midweeks are the same. Let me bring it up. Ooh. So, morning, gent. How are we doing? So, this is why it's important to think about the Champions League teams at the moment. So, game week 30. So, game week 29, you should be fine. But then game week 30, for example, Haaland plays Southampton. Then they play in the midweek after game week 30 in the Champions League against Bayern Munich. Game week 31, they play against Leicester. They then play again in the Champions League before an FA Cup semi-final. Now, their FA Cup semi-final is against Sheffield United, so you would potentially expect a bit of rotation in there. However, if you look at the same graph, but for Chelsea, that is a fixture, I believe, against Manchester United. Oh no, Manchester United, Chelsea must blank that week, so that's okay. But still, you've got to consider that, like Havertz in particular, when there are other alternatives, might not necessarily start both of game weeks 30 and 31. Now, if you don't need him for those fixtures, then fine, but you do need to be considering those things. Harrison or March or McAllister. If I was bringing one in, I still think I'd probably go McAllister. Although long-term McAllister, this week March, because March didn't have any time like away, no international duty. So that's why in the captaincy ranking... That's why in the captaincy ranking we see March being higher up than McAllister, just because this week with all the international games that McAllister had to play, for example. Best 1 week punt to replace Haaland. To be honest, maybe you're on bench boost and maybe you need to do it, but that player has to score 8 points. To try and find a forward that's guaranteed to score 8 points this week is actually harder than you think. There's no doubles that I look at that I think, yeah, I need to own you. Like, I wouldn't go Watkins because they've got 2 away games. Like, I probably would end up on Havertz for 2 home games. You could end up on Ings if you wanted to take a bit of a punt, depending on where you are. And you could end up on Isaac as well. The Isaac double is pretty difficult though. So if I was needing a 1 week punt and I was going to go back to him, then I probably wouldn't go Isaac. I'd probably end up on Havertz, maybe even Dom Solanke. Fulham at home, Brighton at home. There are worse punts. Am I bench boosting? Yes. So, annoying thing about the game this year is they make it very, very difficult to know when someone is bench boosting. But I am playing my bench boost this week from the little yellow bar. Sorry, my stream setup has just died, but I think we're fine. I think we're back. Fine. So yeah, by the little blue bar, it's not very good indication, but I am playing my bench boost this week. So my bench currently looks like David Raya, Harry Kane, Sven Botman, and Rico Henry. Botman is fine. Botman's been pictured in training, and Eddie Howe said that he should be fine. So I have no problems with Sven Botman being fine, and he should play both unless something else happens. But yeah, he should be fit to play. Shaw and Areola, or De Gea and Zuma. So Fabianski's back in training, so it kind of has to be De Gea and Zuma. So yeah. Koh Samui in Thailand. I have been there actually. A very nice place. Benrahma or Maddison. I'd probably buy Maddison out of the two. I'm very jealous of Maddison this week, and he's one of the potential transfers I could still make between now and the deadline. Morning, current midfield. Is it worth taking a -8 to bring in March/Matoma for Almiron and bench Jensen, or just hope that Brighton are tired? I'd take it. And again, I spoke about this in my video. Is getting the right Brighton assets now is going to save you a headache further down the line, and it's why I'm considering a -4 of. Let me move my mic away, it's in the way a little bit. -4 of Rico Henry to Estupiñán, because if I don't do it this week for a -4, the chances are it's going to be for a -4 further down the line as well. So I know that Brighton, I need to get Ben Crellin's spreadsheet up, but we know that they double in 29. We know that they double in 34. And the predictions are they're going to double in 36 and 37 as well, with these two fixtures of Newcastle and Manchester City going into 36 and 37. So they'd go Newcastle away, Arsenal away 36, then Southampton at home, Man City at home in 37, or the other way round potentially. But yeah, that if you need to be getting on the right Brighton triple up from now so that you can hold them for this run, because you're going to want triple Brighton when they have 2 double game weeks in the space of 2 weeks. So Tony to Evan Ferguson, thoughts? I don't think I would do it, just because Evan Ferguson doesn't fall into my ideal Brighton triple up. I think he's first choice, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to start every game, particularly in a Brighton side where we have seen a reasonable amount of rotation. So if it's the only way for you to get triple Brighton, and it's the only way going down the line as well that you think you're able to get it, then potentially do consider it. But for this week, I don't think I would do it, particularly with him having been away on international duty as well. Dom Solanke or Isaac. If you're buying long term, buy Isaac. If you're buying for just like 1 week and you're likely to move them out, I don't dislike Solanke for this week. The fixtures for this week are quite nice, and it is a potential transfer I might make, is bringing in Dom Solanke. So that's a potential for me. But one of my opinions on Ings and Harrison as risked for this week. Now, again, Ings falls into the same category as Evan Ferguson for me. So Ings is first choice, but doesn't necessarily mean he's going to start both, particularly when there's a lot of games coming quick and fast. So I would be a bit cautious on Ings. If you want to take a punt and you're chasing, then absolutely fine. But if you're just trying to consolidate yourself, I don't think Ings is the forward to be going and buying. Hey Harry, Odegaard to Maddison or Bowen? I'd probably go Maddison. I probably would just go straight to Maddison. I think Maddison's better than Bowen. Bowen's a big differential. The double is nice for them, but I think I would just go. Maddison. So in terms of my other potential transfers that I could make for this week, there are a number of things, right? So we start in defence. I still think Estupiñán is a good transfer and a player that I do want to be owning in my team going forward. So I could do Henry to Estupiñán for a -4. Chances are it will have to be for a -4 whenever I do it anyway. So I could just rip the band-aid off and do it this week for a -4. Then the other two transfers kind of go hand in hand with each other, although they don't have to, but the chances are if I did them, I'd probably do neither or both. And that is selling Harry Kane to get Dom Solanke for his double, and selling Bukayo Saka to go and get in James Maddison. Now, the reason that those transfers kind of work together is because I then don't want Maddison in game week 31, because he's great for 29 and 30, but then 31 he has Manchester City away and then doesn't double again this season. So when 31 hits, like, I want to sell Maddison, and that is the time that you want to go and bring in Mo Salah, because Mo Salah has Man City away, Chelsea away, Arsenal at home, and then from 31 they play Leeds. So I would want to do Maddison up to Mo Salah, and I wouldn't have the money spare if I decided to keep Harry Kane. Now, I would if Erling Haaland isn't out, but of course, a lot of us are planning Tony to Haaland next week. Well, now we might end up not doing that move, and we all might end up waiting on Erling Haaland until game week 33, for example. It's possible. And I did put a message out there somewhere that with this tweet of we need to worry about Erling Haaland's rotation, if we see that we're not sure he's going to start both in game weeks 30 and 31, you might decide that actually, if you've still got Harry Kane, Harry Kane at home to Brighton, at home to Bournemouth, versus a rotation-prone Erling Haaland in one of those two games isn't as good. So that's what I've got to bear in mind, and it does impact myself a little bit. Do I decide to keep Harry Kane because I might want him for those if I don't decide to go and buy Dom Solanke, if I don't go and decide to buy Erling Haaland next week? Is there more value in me starting to move on players this week that blank, or hold on to them and play 32 with 7 players? So, if you have no free hit left, and I know this probably isn't loads of you, but just to discuss it a little bit, you are in a game week 32 is difficult if you don't have a free hit left. Game week 32 is difficult if you don't have a free hit left. So this is Ben Crellin's predicted spreadsheet and what the fixtures between now and the end of the season are likely to look like. Just before we dive into this, guys, we are trying to hit 50,000 subscribers during today's live stream. So if you haven't subscribed already and you are enjoying the stream, please do help me get there. And if you haven't liked the stream as well, there are 1,500 of you watching and only 100 likes on the stream. But yeah, 32. In theory, it looks fine because there's only 4 teams without a fixture. However, those 4 teams are Manchester United, where the majority of us now have a triple up on; Brighton, where the majority of us now have a triple up on; Chelsea and Manchester City, where the majority of us own at least one asset from. And a lot of us may end up without a goalkeeper that week as well, or some of us might still have David Raya, for example. So if you don't have your free hit left, you do need to be thinking about players like Liverpool, for example. Like, going in on Liverpool this week is a good strategy if you don't have your free hit this week. So if I don't have my free hit, I'd probably buy Mo Salah over Bruno Fernandes this week, and then look to go Bruno Fernandes in 34 and just swap the way round that we are looking to buy those players. I'd also potentially, if you want to take a punt, the same thing applies to West Ham, right? Southampton, Newcastle, then they play Bournemouth, so they're second from bottom on this list. Bournemouth in 32, then double again in 34. So there are a couple of teams in there that double in 29, double in 34. Liverpool, you probably need to chance that they have a good double, even though it's difficult here. Then from game week 31, everyone will be looking to invest in them. They are great from 31 until the end of the season. They have no Europe as well. So if you don't have a free hit, Liverpool needs to be where you are, having a little bit of a look of where you should potentially be investing in your teams. Am I bench boosting this week? I am. So although the FPL website doesn't make it easy to understand, that little blue bar around my bench means that my bench boost is active. It's really unhelpful. And it doesn't say it anywhere. Oh, it does. It says there. Fine. But yes, bench boost is active. Sorry. To go back to other potential transfers. So Estupiñán could come in to my team for Rico Henry. I could potentially, Bukayo Saka could go to Maddison, and then Harry Kane could also leave and go to Dom Solanke as well. So there are a couple of, like, in theory, if I did them all, which I think is probably unlikely, but it's not impossible, I would end up on a minus 16, which I don't think is where I want to be. But yeah. You still haven't used triple captain yet. Should I use it on a raw card? I imagine that's either a spelling or you want a big differential, or I was meant to say Rashford. Triple captain this week is fine. I still prefer triple captain in game week. Got so many tabs open. Game week 34. Yeah, like Tottenham at home, Fulham at home for Liverpool, or Manchester City playing Fulham away, West Ham at home is probably better than if you wanted to play it this week. However, if you're having to play a chip in that 34 anyway, then absolutely go for it and play it this week. Zinchenko to Zuma or Shaw, it's at minus 12. Do I think it's even worth it? So again, there's going to be a lot of questions like this about, should I do this move for a minus 8, for a minus 12? Like, in theory, a minus 12 overall is not ideal, but you do need to look at each transfer in isolation, right? So Zinchenko to Shaw is a transfer I've done for a minus 4. So yes, I do think the transfer is worth it. So I would do it. And you need to get out of your mind about whether that specific transfer is that minus 12 is going to be worth it, because that theory is not a minus 12. Because when I tweeted out my potential minus 16, which, just to highlight what it would be to you, Kane to Dom Solanke, like, I need the money, but of course Solanke has a double this week. He has some good fixtures going forward as well. He's not Kane, but if I don't do it, then I have Salah. I don't have Salah in 31, right? So it's a bit of a toss-up between the two. Saka to Maddison. Of course, Maddison adds an extra fixture this week. And then has Bournemouth at home next week, whilst Saka goes away to Liverpool. And then I sell Maddison to go to Salah. Martinelli to Fernandes. Of course, Fernandes has an extra fixture this week, and that is for the longer term. Zinchenko to Shaw, and then Henry to Estupinan. Now, the quotes from the Brighton press conference were interesting. He said he doesn't have any worries about fitness, but then he did also make comments about it's a big test with players being away on international duty, which is, yeah, not that, like, helpful. Not that useful, to be honest. Cool. Haaland injury. So, I need more tabs. Let me get FPL Focal's tweet up. So he tweeted yesterday, and Focal's, the source he gets it from is good, saying that Haaland is out of today's game. Now, we should have the usual team news and ticks giving us Manchester City news going into the last 15 minutes before the deadline. So if you have Haaland, don't sell him yet. Wait until we get that news right before the deadline, but know exactly what you're going to do if he is ruled out, because that website, with the amount of bench boosts there are, with the amount of transfers that are being made, that website could potentially crash today. So, yes, you'd go Salah now and keep Kane, all in on no Haaland, but ahead. And prefer 90 minutes Kane and Salah for 30-31 than Tony to former forward, Kane to Haaland 33-34. So yeah, I mean, I could do that. I could go Saka straight to Salah and just skip Maddison. But I mean, I could do that. But you wanted price rises or wanted Bruno Fernandes short anyways. I wanted Fernandes and Shaw anyways. As I said, they double in 34. They double in 29. They double in 34, and they're predicted to double in 37 as well. So I wanted triple Manchester United, and not only that, their next two games are Everton at home in 30, Forest away in 31. Then their only difficult game is Spurs away, but we know what Spurs are like in 33. Villa, Brighton, West Ham, Wolves, Bournemouth, Fulham, and a double in there as well. So I advise, If anyone's in the chat, I know there'll be people asking questions I haven't got to yet, but to sort of get a blanket response, if you are looking to take a -4 for an Arsenal midfielder to Bruno Fernandes, the answer for me is yes. And if you are looking to take a -4 for a Arsenal defender to Luke Shaw, my answer again to you there is yes. Don't necessarily think it's going to pay out this... Oh, my fixtures is working. Oh. Sorry, that fixtures bit at the top, basically it stopped working because the double game weeks mess up the formula. But they seem to be back. Love it. What do I think of Iverson? I think Iverson should definitely start at least the first game. I don't necessarily think I don't think I'd be buying him, to be honest, though. I know their double's not bad, but Leicester can't defend, so I don't think I'd be buying him if it was me. Did I just wake up? What time is it? I got out of bed about an hour ago, and then shower, straight to my stream. Yeah. Estupiñán or Shaw. Yeah, like, maybe if I'm not going to take a -4 for Estupiñán, then maybe I should have thought about going Estupiñán this week and Shaw next week. But there was just enough doubt when I wanted to make the transfer still about Estupiñán. So I still think Estupiñán should play both games, but there was enough doubt in my mind about it. That comment in the chat about I could go Salah this week, I could. It's just whether I miss out on Maddison. It's just missing out on Maddison, which I don't love. Maddison's one of those players that really worries me this week. Really worries me. Keith, thank you for the super chat. You did not leave a comment though, so do leave it and I will do my best to find it. Will Rashford start tomorrow? I believe so. Like, he's my captain, so take from that what you want, but I think he does. I have no information, but I think so. Is it tomorrow or is it today? Like, tomorrow's better, but... Is it today or tomorrow? They play tomorrow, an extra day's recovery for Rashford before playing on Wednesday. Yeah, I think Rashford starts. Is Ward a doubt this week? Yes, if you have Ward and you are on bench boost, I would probably sell him, even for a hit, because I definitely don't think he's going to start the first game, because after the last game, Brendan Rodgers basically said giving Iverson a chance for one game isn't fair on him and he needs to give him more, is basically what he said. Kane to Greenwood to save money to use for Salah and Robbo later on. Well, I wouldn't do Kane to Greenwood unless you need to this week, because, yeah, Greenwood doesn't play. So unless you're doing it as a double move, I wouldn't worry about doing it this week. Do I think James is a good pick? He's still short of cash for Chilwell. Henry to James. I think he should be fine. He's back in training, but he's missing a lot of random games at the moment. I don't think I would buy him. I don't think I would be buying him at the moment, if I'm completely honest. McAllister or Maddison, or both for Saka and Martinelli. So you're in the same position. I would do Martinelli to McAllister, because I think long-term the triple Brighton is what you want. However, the Saka to Maddison move, I haven't done yet. And I'm not sure if I am necessarily going to do it. I am not sure if I'm necessarily going to do it. We have turned on subscriber only mode. You literally have to have subscribed for 1 second to be able to start using the chat again. But of course, we are trying to hit 30,000 subscribers during today's stream. So any help you can do to help me get there, or dropping a like, would be fantastic. Will Haaland play in 30 or 31? That's very difficult to answer. If it was touch and go for today, then he should in theory be back available for those. But it is worth bearing in mind that there is Champions League starting up for Manchester City against Bayern Munich, and the Champions League is what Manchester City want to win above everything else. So you do need to have that in the back of your mind. Jen, I know you lost your membership badge with had to start a new account. I wish there was a way that I could change it, but I cannot. Talk you through captaincy picks. Yeah, so for me, Marcus Rashford is top. Marcus Rashford is top. He looks fine. I think he's going to start. Okay, double. Potentially on penalties. The most open play threat out of any player with a double this week. It is close. Who else do I have in it? Let's put captaincy back up. Next up, I have James Maddison because I really, really like his double. Then we have, and his sort of, the teams he's playing concede a lot of chances where Maddison creates chances from. Then we have Solly March above McAllister and then above Matoma. March is there because he hasn't played any minutes in the international break, so I think he's more likely to play 90 minutes across both games than the other two. McAllister comes next just because of penalties, just because of that open play threat still being there with the positioning he's got. And then we have Matoma. Now, McAllister versus Matoma is very close between the two, as it was in game week 27 as well. What to do if you don't have your free hit for game week 32? Yeah, then Liverpool needs to be your priority this week because they play Forest at home then, and you probably end up keeping the likes of Zinchenko. You might keep Saka. You need to keep on top of your Arsenal assets a bit more and target some of your Liverpool players as well. Lucas, minus 20 anyone? Again, it's not... I don't know what the transfers are, but I did think about minus 16. My team is not confirmed yet. No. There will be transfers. Well, there might be transfers to be made. Thoughts on Iheanacho for Kane? Absolutely not. Don't buy Iheanacho. He doesn't seem to be even getting starts anymore, so... won't Fernandes be playing in a deeper role with Casemiro being unavailable? So they do have enough defensive midfielders available at the moment that he doesn't actually need to, and he's much better off going forward. So I don't necessarily think it's going to be the case. Now, with the fixtures they've got away at Newcastle, it is possible, which is why he's not high up my captaincy ranking, because it is definitely possible. But, yeah. Am I going to free hit in game week 32? Yes, free hit 32 is the plan, and I think anyone with a free hit left that has used their wild card will be doing the same. What transfers am I making? So I've done Fernandes in for Martinelli. I've done Luke Shaw in for Zinchenko, and there are other potential ones that I might do. I mentioned them on Twitter. I don't think I'm going to end up doing them all, but I might end up doing some of them. And they're basically boiled down to this. Saka, Maddison, I could go Saka straight to Salah as well. That is also a possibility. Does Brighton have a game in 32? No, Brighton blank, which is, again, the two teams that a lot of us are targeting, Manchester United and Brighton. If you don't have a free hit in 32, it becomes quite difficult. You planned Dawson to Chilwell all week. Now looking at Haaland, bench. Pereira to Matoma, McAllister at -4 for sure. For Dawson, no free hit, but have Salah, Darwin. You have Salah, Darwin already, that's good. Dawson to Chilwell, I probably would do, but I would, again, favour Shaw over him if that's the decision you've made. I prefer Shaw to Chilwell going forward, I think. But yeah, I don't just... Pereira to Matoma, McAllister are nice moves. What about Maddison as captain? He's second in my captaincy poll. I really like his double. So yeah, don't hate it at all. Saka to Salah is a pretty lit transfer, you can't lie. So yeah, these are my other potential moves. Kane to Dom Solanke. It allows me to go like Saka to... It frees up money to go Saka to Salah, basically, either this week or then Maddison to Salah in a few weeks. Martinelli to Bruno Fernandes, again, already done. Zinchenko to Shaw, already done. So I suppose the others are... Let's get my fancy little notes. I know you will love when I get my notepad up on here and it looks really professional. Good typing, Harry. Am I okay this morning? What's going on? Cool. That's probably a bit clearer than that. Sorry, let me just turn on my... You will hear me clicking, which no one enjoys. Cool. The return of the Notepad. Yes, things love to see. Steele as a bench goalie. I think Steele should start, yeah. I don't mind him. He's better than Iverson. He's better than Iverson. Salah against both City and Chelsea. Are you sure you'd bring him in? No, so it depends what stats you use. So I posted stats that basically Liverpool away from home this season have been dreadful. And they're both away. So I was like, oh, I won't want to do it. But then the replies, I mean, they're filled by replies for people I imagine are buying Salah or considering buying Salah, but basically saying, yeah, but Salah's record against the big six is really good. So his away form's rubbish, but he's good against the teams that he's playing against. So it's a difficult one. I don't necessarily hate it, but it would save me a transfer as well. Do I think Maddison against Villa, Palace, Bournemouth outscores Salah by 4 over the next 2, whereas Salah has Arsenal, City, Chelsea? I still think I'd back Maddison. I think I'd take the chance on it. Henry to Estupiñán or West Ham defender from -8. I'd probably go Estupiñán, especially if you're free hitting in 32. A lot of this is dependent on a free hit 32 situation, but I think the majority of you are planning on it. Let me put a poll in here just so I know if I should be answering questions like that. I brought a snack with me today's stream. You must be all very excited. Different snack with me every day. It is saurine. I like the normal version of it, the like malt loaf version, but this is a Easter version, which my girlfriend bought, who does exist still, by the way. You will not. I'm not getting the chat started on that again. But it's raspberry and white chocolate flavour, and I'm a bit like, ooh, it's green screened. But I'm not so sure on this. I like the original, but I don't know if I like this. Don't do Saka to Salah because you can't afford it. So how is the poll going? So yeah, 72% of you are free hitting in Gameweek 32. Fine. You didn't miss anything. I've confirmed 2 transfers. So far, we are 600 subscribers away from our goal of 50,000 for today. We might get Haaland news closer to the deadline. And yeah, that's about it. That is about it. Let's do some more questions. Close poll. Thoughts on Jared Bowen? Yeah, he's a good punt, and I think there'll be a differential in West Ham over the next few weeks, but it's... Oh, apologies. I know it's Ramadan at the moment. So me showing food on stream is probably not the most considerate, so I am sorry. What was I answering before that? I cannot remember. Keeper for the double game week, except Kepa. I presume you need cheap then. The issue is you can't go West Ham because you don't know who's going to start both. De Gea sets you up well going forward. The Forest double's not bad, although they're not playing that well at the moment. Bournemouth, like Neto's probably up there. He's quite cheap as well. Yeah, he's 4.5. He has a good double this week, and then you basically just play Kepa for the rest of the season. It depends if you need them for other game weeks as well. Oh, I also took a drink whilst apologising for eating. Your super chat got ignored. Did it? Oh, Odegaard to Barnes for a -4. Can't afford Maddison. I don't hate Barnes as a pick, especially if you can't afford Maddison. But I suppose the issue is a lot of us are then going Maddison to Salah. And if you can't afford Maddison, then how are you going to get to Salah? At the end of that is what I would probably say. Apologies. Yeah, so like Raptor will be looking at this tweet from Oscar. So yeah. My camera's gone. Am I bench boosting? Yes. Yeah, bench boost active. Yeah. Kepa blanks game week 32. This is true. And if actually you go Neto and you're not free hitting in 32, like home to West Ham is not the worst fixture. So Neto's probably one. It's probably the one. Okay. Glad I didn't offend. And I hope it's going well. Martinelli to Maddison and then Salah later or Salah now. So that's what I'm trying to decide. I might end up on Saka. I'm doing the same with Saka. If I had Martinelli, I probably would do it. I just think there's a bit more on. There's a little bit more on Saka. I probably would do Martinelli to Salah. Martinelli to Maddison and then go Salah. I think the... Sorry, you guys are throwing me way off. Yeah, I think I would do it. I think there's enough upside on Maddison over the next 3 that I probably would want to do it. But injury news on Haaland and Rashford. Rashford should be fine. Rashford is having training and then they have today as well. Haaland, less so. Haaland has not been pictured in training and we think he's not going to play. If I'm not getting Haaland next week, would I do Odegaard to Maddison or Bruno? If I'm not going to get Haaland next week, I still would go... If you're not going to do it, then you could do Odegaard to Maddison and then go to Bruno, but I probably would still go Bruno. Your super chat. How do I... Sorry. Henry to Chaël for another -4. I apologize. I apologize. I didn't mean to miss it. Thank you very much for it. Would I do it for another -4? I don't think I would do Chilwell now, especially with the Champions League starting. I don't think I would do that, to be honest. Especially because Chilwell doesn't double again until game week 37, and the double in 37 is going to be really difficult. I don't think I would. If I had this again, I don't think I'd have Chilwell in my team. I don't think. Chelsea are better from home. If you have Kepa especially, right? If you have no Chelsea defence, then maybe. Then maybe. Iheanacho, some of you asking about Iheanacho. He seems to have lost his place. I wouldn't be buying into him. I definitely would not be buying into him this week. Yeah. Stream is healthy. Kane to Isaac. I don't love Isaac's double enough, so I definitely wouldn't do that if that's for a hit. Am I doing a Stupinan? How long have we got? How long until the deadline? Oh, just over an hour. I got time, but I do need to have a look at my team. It's what we always do, and then we panic in the last little bit. Captain Rashford or Maddison? Well, Rashford's captain in my team, but I don't own Maddison. But Maddison would not be captain if I owned him. It'd still be on Rashford. Yeah, I wouldn't do Henry to Chilwell for a -4, no. What about Robertson rather than Shaw? So, Robertson I quite like, and that move works, right? If you're not free hitting in game week 32, that move's great. I am looking at potential future plans of how I go and get a Liverpool defender. And Chilwell's unlikely to make the stay in my team when that comes around, which is why I regret buying him a little bit. He'll probably stay... 33, he'll probably go, or 34, he'll probably go to a Liverpool defender. But yeah. Bench boost active. Bench boost active. Yes, bench boost is active. Should I include Chaël on wildcard? If I was on wildcard, no. Just like I wouldn't bring him in this week, I probably wouldn't own Chaël on wildcard because I think we're going to want to sell him going forward anyway. I think I would just go straight to a Liverpool defender and not worry too much about that. I think I'd go straight to a Liverpool defender. Cool. Should I include Chaël on wildcard? Nope. Watkins or Ings. Watkins. Who should I use your triple captain on and who? I'd probably go Rashford still because he's the most likely player to score this week. He's my captain as well. You're not free hit 32, so is there anyone else to go with replace Henry instead of a Stupinan? So again, it's Liverpool assets and it's a West Ham defender as well probably, so Zuma, because they double this week, they double in 34 West Ham and same with Liverpool, and they play in 29, play in 32. So I would probably go, if you can get up to a Liverpool asset, then go for a Liverpool asset. If you can't go up to a Liverpool asset, then a cheaper West Ham one is probably where it's at. Isaac versus Dom Solanke. Again, it depends how long you need to hold them for. If it's just for this week, then it's Solanke. But if you want to be playing them further forward, then it's Isaac. Reason for not choosing a Brighton captain, just because the points are always so shared around them. That's the concern. Whereas if Manchester United are scoring, the chances are Marcus Rashford's going to have some involvement on it. So I think I'm happy with it on Rashford. I like players who have high goal involvement, particularly when it comes to captaincy. So what that means is if their team scores, what are the percentage chances that a player is involved in it? Players like Rashford have a very good goal involvement. Players like Ivan Toney do. Ollie Watkins at the moment has a very high one. The Arsenal assets actually have a relatively low goal involvement because they score so many goals. It kind of outweighs that a little bit. But you need to have a player that, their team needs to score 1 or 2 goals for them to have a very good chance of a return versus scoring, 3 or 4 goals. Like there are with some of the players. No, I had water on my desk, so I drink a cup of tea first, and then it gets cold, and then I have a cold cup of tea left because I answer questions, and then I have a glass of water as well, try and get me through. It is a huge week, absolutely. I hope we're all excited. So the poll, 70% of you are free hitting in Game Week 32, which kind of takes away it kind of takes away the appeal of it a little bit. However, 50% of the top 10k have already used their free hit, which means 45%, 50% of people won't be able to free hit in Game Week 32, which is, quite a big chunk of people, which hopefully will give those of us playing our free hit that week a bit of an advantage. Any news on Sven Botman? Botman looks fine. He's been pictured in training, and Eddie Howe said that he should be fine. According to Fantasy Football Hub, Kufau outscores Short in the next 5. Yes, I'm not surprised, partly because he has an extra fixture in there. Game Week 32, Sufal has a fixture away at Bournemouth, whereas there's no fixture for Shaw. If you take that fixture out of the equation, I imagine it becomes the other way around. Saka to Fernandes, I probably would do it. I think I would do it. You're going Ward to Steele, Cash to Ricardo, and Odegaard to Bruno. Any thoughts? Ricardo Pereira is an interesting one. I've seen his name mentioned a few times. He's nice and cheap at 4.3, but has been starting the past 3 games since a return from injury. Of course, he does have recurring injury problems, but he should be fine. No free hit 32. Bench boost White to Zuma, done. Is it worth a -4 Salah from Saka or wait? Kane away to Everton doesn't scream goals. -8 in a double game week, or just be patient. What I do, the thing is with Salah to Saka is if you don't have a free hit in 32, then I wouldn't do it because you kind of need Saka in 32. So, yeah, I probably wouldn't. If I can't afford Haaland after selling Odegaard and Martinelli, would I still get rid of Saka, even if Haaland is a doubt? If I can't afford Haaland after selling Odegaard or Martinelli for Fernandes, I presume, would I still get rid of Saka? I'd get rid of Saka if it then allowed you to get it. I still think we need to be in a position where we have a route to Haaland next week, even though he's a doubt. I would still leave your options open, I think. I would still leave options open. I had to turn your head away. Morning, everyone. Thank you all those for joining. We are just about to hit 2,000 concurrent viewers. If you have not liked the stream already and if you have not subscribed already, please make sure you go and do so because we are 550 subscribers away from our target of 50,000 for the stream, which would be, well, 50,000 ever, but 50,000 during the stream, which would be great if you could help me. If you could help me get there, but yeah, like if you have not already. Brighton midfielder for captain, I don't dislike it, just the points tend to be a little bit more shared, so you have the possibility that you get just unlucky with it, and it's the others that score points. Thoughts on Martinelli to Barnes or Henry to Estupiñán? Martinelli to Barnes or Henry to Estupiñán? I'd probably prefer the defender move. Rashford, Matoma, Barnes, Martinelli, suggest one double game week player. I mean, Fernandes isn't in that list. There's a second Brighton mid is probably next as well. Please explain the shore in for Zinchenko and not Henry. Arsenal league goals. Henry tends to play at wing back in games that look like this. I might end up selling Henry as well. I might bring in Estupiñán. But he tends to play at wing back in games that like this. So, yeah. Like, I understand, and I just prefer the double to get the potential upside of it. Like, 2 blanks for Henry is better than a blank for Zinchenko, right? I understand the attacking threat and the clean sheet potential in a single game for Zinchenko is better, but yeah. Saka to Maddison or for -4. Again, I haven't decided if I'm going to make that move or not, so I can't answer you until I decide that. Um, 2 seconds. Have I made my transfers yet? I've made some of them. I've done some of them. So I've done Martinelli to Fernandes and Zinchenko to Shaw, and these are the other moves that I'm considering doing. Kane against away at Everton. How do I feel about that? I find it really hard to judge. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Harry, Kane's not been that great, but I still, in the end, means I don't have him for Bournemouth or for Brighton. But if I don't have him for Bournemouth and Brighton, well, if I don't have him for Bournemouth, that means if I have him for Bournemouth, it means I don't have Salah for Bournemouth, or for Leeds that week. Was really torn between March and Rashford captain. You think you'll use the Rashford flag as an excuse to go March? Fair enough. I think Rashford will be fine though. Do you think they'll ever show us on the FPL website when a player will rise? So it's something that's spoken about a lot is what potential changes people would want to see to FPL. And one that people talk about a lot is more visibility and clarity on potential price changes. The only thing with that is how long in advance do you give them? Because at the moment, price changes happen at 1 o'clock in the morning, right? And if loads of transfers, for example, are made in the hour before that, it would change who's going to potentially rise or fall. And if you have that, do you need to give people 24 hours notice? Like, because you can't then give people just like it's on the website, like it just ticks up depending on how many transfers are needed, because then you're going to have people staying awake at ridiculous hours to try and see what's going to happen. So the sort of unpredictability of it helps it a little bit, because sometimes if it's just like, oh, it's predicted to rise, then at 10 o'clock you just make your transfers. Whereas if they hadn't reached the threshold, people would just be staying up, which I don't like. You're only here to witness the minus 16. Got to be true to my word. Is that what it is? Brennan Johnson to Ings. Yeah, I probably would do that. Just because I don't think Johnson's going to play. Would I sell Martinelli for Gibbs White? Mo. Kane to Isaac for -4. I don't dislike it, but I don't think the double for Newcastle is good enough to warrant that. I'm trying to eat subtly, but that stuff is gluing my mouth together. Wasn't a good choice of stream food. Anyway, best goalkeeper. I quite like Neto for this week. He's 4.5, has 2 good fixtures at home to Fulham, at home to Brighton. And you can... Sorry, stop talking my mouth full. That's true. But then I just sit in silence, which I know some of you quite like, but... yeah, I quite like Neto. It depends. Like, if you've got Kepa, then Neto works. If you're looking for someone to go long-term with, then it's like De Gea or it's Alisson, who are both quite good options. But who would I get in for Pinnock out of these? Sensei of Bournemouth or Cresswell? I'd go Zuma. Lion King, I apologise if I missed your chat. Let me scroll up. Would I do Zinchenko to Shaw and me to a Stupinan for -8, or just me to Shaw? I wouldn't do that. Oh, well, I haven't done Henry to... Well, me's a centre-back, though. I probably would do both. Apologies. Start Saka against Leeds or Rico Henry for the tough double. I'd probably start Saka. I know... Yeah, you know I don't love the double versus single play there, but I probably would. Probably would play Saka over Rico Henry. What do I think Alex Moreno's differential this week? So is... The issue is Dean is fit and he hasn't been starting, but they haven't had more than a game a week. My worry is when they have lots of matches in quick succession that he will play. The chat on the stream is rubbish. They need to fix it, but it's not my problem. But I might have to change it because it's run by a company called Streamlabs in combination with YouTube, and it basically breaks every so often. You have to refresh it. I don't like that purple. Thoughts on Havertz? Yeah, he should be fine to play. I've got no problem with anyone buying Havertz this week or having Havertz. If I was looking to buy, would I buy Havertz? The issue you have with him is the Champions League coming up. That's the big concern. Now the chat's not even... Seeing Greenwood, thank you very much for joining the channel as a membership. Again, I get asked this a lot. How do I join the channel as a member? Let me very quickly just show you. So there is a join button here once you have subscribed, and then you have your two options, your base tier, which Cian just joined at, and then your top tier as well, which gets you the Twitter chat with all the other members and myself as well. So thank you for joining though. Shaw or Zuma? I'd buy Shaw this week. Maddison or Fernandez? Fernandez is priority. Kane to Solanke, so I'm still deciding on whether I'm going to do that one. I think, yeah, still deciding on exactly if I'm going to do it. So I can't. Maybe we should ask. Consider alternative strategies. Additionally, it's important to consider the potential risk and reward of taking a -16. If the players you're considering bringing in are likely to perform well and score points, it could be a good decision. However, if the players you bring in fail to deliver, you could be facing a significant setback. Thanks. Ultimately, the decision on whether to take a -12 in FPL should be based on careful analysis of your team and the players you are considering bringing in. You should also consider the long-term impact of the decisions on your overall standings in the league. Thank you. That didn't help. You've already taken a -4 this week. Is it worth doing another -4 to bring in Bruno? Yes. I'm not actually using it to decide my transfers, but I was just wanting to know what it said. Yes, I would do Saka to Bruno. You can either do Ben Mee to Zuma or Estupinan. If I go Zuma this week, you can bring in Haaland next week for free. Then, to be honest, I'd go Estupinan. Like, I think between now and the end of the season, Estupinan outscored Zuma by 4, so. Who are the best keepers to bring in this week for Sanchez? Depends. I just opened my window and someone outside has just decided to start blowing their leaf blower. So hot in here though. Oh, it's all going wrong. Are my transfers done? No, so I've made 2 of them. I'm on a -4, but I have these others that I potentially might make. So Martinelli to Fernandez is done. Zinchenko to Shaw is done. And then Kane, those are the other potential moves that I might make. Rashford, I don't have much doubt that I think he will start this week. Patrick, how are we doing? Good morning. The longest standing member, 15 months. Thank you very much for renewing. I hope you are well. Team looks great. Why take any more hits? Yeah, so I suppose to go through why I would do these. No, FPL Focals Haaland uses not April Fools. Henry to Estupinan. Henry to Estupinan, I could do. I'm likely to do this further down the line anyway. So I might just do it this week. I suppose the doubt is, do I think Estupinan's going to start both? Now, if I do that, then I probably won't buy Solanke, right? Because Estupinan plays against Solanke. So the chances of me doing the Kane to Solanke and Henry to Estupinan move feels quite low, just because, oh, you can hear the person blowing his leaf blower outside. Let me shut the window again. Why? I'm trying to stream. Do they not know? Solanke or Tony this week? I'll probably go Solanke just because it's yeah, I'll probably go Solanke just because of the yellow cards for Tony being a bit of a concern. You've already got 14/15 double game week players. Would I do Ben Mee to Van Dijk? No, I wouldn't do that for -4. Nope. Just do Henry to a Stupinan. Yeah, it's just like Kane and Saka to Solanke and Maddison for a -8. That doesn't sit quite right with me. How long have we got? 50 minutes, okay. Doesn't sit quite right with me for a -8. Is where I'm at. Ask the Leaf Blur guy if he's taken a -4. He's locked in his team already. Kane to Isaac. I'd like, for free maybe, for a -4, I don't think I would do it. The Newcastle fixtures over the next couple are like Brentford at home, Villa away is okay. They're not like great. I'd prefer Kane for those couple of games where Brentford away, Villa away. Yeah, I prefer Kane for Brighton at home, Bournemouth at home than that. So do I think that Isaac definitely gets enough in the next two? In the next 2 games in the double game week to warrant it? I don't think so. My bench boost is active, yes. Guys, please remember to, if you are on bench boost, please make sure to go and check that your chips are active this week. Please don't be, there will be that person on Twitter who posts when the game updates saying, my bench boost didn't activate. My bench boost didn't activate. I've got Rashford and Fernandes on my bench, right? Please do not be that person. Please don't let anyone in my chat be that person. Go and check that your chips are active. Or if you're on wildcard, that you've actually clicked it. Water Iverson for a -4 bench boost. I'd probably go Neto if you can afford it. Because Neto is definitely going to start both, whereas Iverson isn't. I probably think he will, but I'd go Neto of Bournemouth. Martinelli to March for a -4. No Arsenal players left. I probably would do that because, again, getting the correct Brighton triple up for future game weeks is what you want to be doing. Saka to Bowen for a -4. I don't think I would do. Zinchenko to Shah for a -4. Or Botman, no, I don't think I would do as well. Because that Newcastle double game week is not good. Is not good at all. What's the update on Botman? He's been pictured in training, so Botman should be absolutely fine. If you bring in Maddison, what's my plan for bringing him in the coming weeks? So I will keep him for the next 2, and then I would go to Salah after that. So he has a good double, and then in game week 31, he has Manchester City away. And then Salah has Leeds away that week. So I would probably make the switch with the money in the bank to go up to Salah that week. Which is why if I do the Maddison move this week, if I go Saka to Maddison this week, I pretty much guarantee that I would need to do Kane to Solanke this week because that frees up the money that I need to do it and buy Haaland back. Best Haaland replacement. Isaac, Solanke, Havertz, probably the top 3. Henry to Zuma is for a -8. Should I? Well, it's not in theory for a -8. You're not free hitting in 32. But Tony plays in 32. Like, they have Villa at home in 32, so that's not necessarily a bad one, but I suppose the Zuma one is better than that, and the double this week is better as well. So, do I think Zuma outscores Henry by 4 over those? It's so close. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably err on the side of caution. Update on Rashford. He should be fine. He's sort of back in training. Sort of back in training. Any news on Haaland? Sorry. Any news on Haaland? Yeah, so we had this yesterday from FPL Focal, who is pretty reliable in his Manchester City team news, from this guy who says Haaland is out, the groin injury won't be risked, We should get more news, though, from an account called Team News and Ticks. He says, hopefully I'll be useful tomorrow, and he tweeted that yesterday. So let's hope. Let's hope. We have hit 49,500 subscribers. Thank you all. We are closing in on that goal of 50,000 today. Why isn't Bruno a good captaincy pick? You don't have Rashford. It's just with no Casemiro, there is a potential that he plays a little bit deeper. Can I put Henry in your starting 11? No. So I've lined up my bench as if what my bench would look like if I was not playing my bench boost, so that I can try and understand so I can try and understand actually how effective my my bench boost is. Captaincy, there is a captaincy ranking about to come up in the top corner of the screen for anyone wondering about how I rank captains this week. Would I captain Salah if I had him, given uncertainty of Marcus Rashford? No, because I don't. I think Rashford's going to play, so I don't think I'd captain Salah with his away fixtures, that they are difficult as well. You can't decide on captain, please help. Yeah, that's up there. Opinions on Odegaard, Saka, and White to McAllister, Bruno, Shaw. I probably would do those. I probably would. Haaland news, we're going to have to wait until close to the deadline to get anything more than we already have. We should get it in about half an hour's time. I hope Haaland's out. No offence to anyone who's got him, but I hope he's out. Do we know if Steele will start? I'm pretty I'd be surprised if Steele drops out of that Brighton team for this game, for this particular first game. Tony to Ings for a -4. No. Like, Tony might get suspended, right? That might happen, but Ings could easily not play both games. Would I make the same transfers with no free hit in 32? No. So I would probably do, I probably wouldn't have gone Fernandes. I would go Salah if I wasn't free hitting in 32. If I'd probably not go Shaw, I might have gone Trent. I would just go Liverpool if I wasn't free hitting in 32. I've now got goosebumps. Having a field day with my temperatures this morning. Why March over Matoma for captaincy? That's not based on who I think is a better asset. I think that's based off March didn't play any international games over the break. So, yeah, no international games for March over the break, and the others did. So that's basically what it was. More likely to play 90 minutes. How come I decided not to get a Brighton defender? Haven't necessarily decided. I don't like Henry's attacking output in these two games. They should, well, there's a decent chance they end up playing a back five away at Brighton and away at United, which means Henry's likely to be a wing back. So is it worth a -4? I don't know. The only thing is, it probably ends up being a -4 whenever I do it. So this is a site called FPL.team, and it allows you to see what your transfers and your team will look like for future weeks. So as I said, I'm going to take out Zinchenko, and I've brought in Luke Shaw, and I'm going to bring out Martinelli, and I'm going to bring in Martinelli, and I'm going to bring in Fernandes. Right, and if I do just those two moves, my team looks fine for this week, but in game week 30, I do Tony to Haaland. Then in 31, I'm then suddenly okay, I don't really have a move, so I probably end up doing Henry to a Estupiñán that week. And just sitting him on my bench. And looking something like that for that week, right? Just bear with me. I might start Raya over Kepa that week as well because I've got Chaël. Game week 32 is a free hit. Now, bear in mind that when 33 comes around, I then have no Salah, who I would get if I make these moves this week. And now I could bring in Salah, but it would be from -4 going away to West Ham, but I would want him the following week after, right? So I could do Kane, basically has to go to a cheaper option in like Greenwood, the cheapest forward at 4 million. And that would allow me to do Saka to Fernandes, Saka to Salah even. Right, and if I do that going into game week 33, it would be a -4, but I would line up, something that looks like this. I'd have triple Brighton against Forest. Like, I would play double United midfield away at Spurs. Like, that's fine. Brentford, double Chelsea defence against Brentford is okay. And it would look something like that. Then game week 34 would roll around. It would be the double. He would come in. I'd probably start David Raya. And I'd probably add Trent, right? So I would probably go and do Chaël to Trent and bench Watkins. Bear with me. This will all make sense while I'm taking you through this in just a second. Best Saka replacement, probably the only person Maddison or Fernandes. So that would be my team, right? But if I take the minus... if I took big hits this week, this hit I take in game week 33, I wouldn't have to do. So that's one hit back. Plus, it means, like in game week 34, like I'd have an additional transfer. And the big thing that I miss going into game week 34 is a City defender. So I could do, like, if I had a spare transfer, Raya to Ederson, for example. And I don't necessarily know if it's needed, but going without City defence for this run-in does worry me a little bit. Like, double with Fulham away, West Ham at home, then Leeds at home, Everton away. Then they're going to double in game week 37, and then I've got Brentford on the final day of the season. So I think I'm probably going to err on the side of caution. Anyone who was in my deadline stream last week saw that I went with a last minute move and it didn't really pay off. Just having no Brighton defence is a bit of a concern. And I know it's going to have to be a hit anyway further down the line. Just to quickly go back and say, okay, if I add that move this week and do Henry to Estupiñán this week, puts me on a -8. I don't mind. 30, I do the same move. 31, I then have a spare transfer, right? So I could do that, like Chaël to Alexander-Arnold move then, for example. I can't actually afford it. That's interesting. I can't actually afford it. I'm sure I could. I'm sure I've done this. But, yeah, it does help me out. Like, I might do the Raya to Ederson move that week, for example. Go and buy Ederson back before the blank. Then when 33 comes around, like, I can do the same -4. And then again the same. So then I'd have an extra double game week player. So the thing is, basically, the conclusion is, and for any of that didn't make sense for, if I do this Estupiñán move now, it's for a -4. If I do it later down the line, the chances are it's going to be for a -4 whenever I decide to do it. It's going to be for a -4 whenever I decide to do it, really. So, and I am playing Henry against double Brighton midfield and double Manchester United midfield. So there are enough things I think that's kind of say that I probably should do it. But yeah, we've got 37 minutes to go until the deadline. Thank you all who have joined. 2,500 of you. We are 450 subscribers away from our target. So anyone new, we are trying to hit 50,000 subscribers during this stream. So I'd appreciate any help in getting there, or any likes as well, because it helps YouTube, the algorithm, whatever, that helps it share it out over YouTube as well. So no brainer then, isn't it? Maybe. Think about rotation and injuries that might crop up. But I suppose if that's the logic, thinking about the rotation and injuries that might crop up, I'm better off doing the transfer now because I know I'm going to need to do it down the line. Now, if Stupinan gets injured, then that's unlucky. But yeah, my transfer's locked in. Well, I've done 2 of them. I might end up doing more. But I'm going to decide quite close to the deadline. So I'm going to, yeah. Like it might, like if I hear that Haaland is out and he's going to be out for a while, then I might go Saka to Salah now. And then I can know that I'm going to be able to keep Kane going forwards and not need to worry about getting Mo Salah back or getting Haaland back until later on. So yeah, you've already subscribed. Appreciate it. What transfers making if no free hit? Yes, if you're not free hitting, you need to target Liverpool really this week. Do I think Maddison is better for 1 or 2 weeks than Bruno? Over the next 2 game weeks, maybe. But between now and the end of the season, no. And I don't necessarily think he outscores him by 4 over the next few for it to be worth an additional transfer. You're also considering buying a Stupinan for Henry, but that prevents me from taking Haaland in one move. Is it worth it? Probably not then. But again, you're probably going to have to do that transfer later down the line anyway, so you might want to do it. Goalkeeper for Sanchez. The goalkeeper I'm probably going to recommend, outside of the obvious, like Kepa, is I quite like Neto at Bournemouth. 2 home fixtures. He's quite cheap as well, so you can bench him for the foreseeable as well, unless you want to chance it on going steal as well. But those of you who have Sanchez to steal feels like it's asking for trouble. Yes, I am already on a -4. Do I think my team needs anything more? Like, I think Brighton, it's very possible Brighton keep 2 clean sheets and no clean sheets this week, right? Brentford at home. Brentford are a good side. Brentford would hope to be scoring in this game. And then away at Bournemouth. Bournemouth, you can keep a clean sheet with, right? But they have a lot of their good players are back, fit and available, right? Tavernier is back as well, as an example. And they've still been scoring. Like, they scored against City. They scored against Arsenal. They did fail to score against Villa. They scored against Liverpool. They scored against Wolves. They scored against Newcastle. They didn't score against Brighton. They scored against Forest. And then here they went through a run of not scoring. But recently they've been scoring goals. So Harry, don't YOLO it. Your rank is solid. Yeah, that's probably also something I need to consider, that if I do it all this week, it's like if I took a 16-point hit this week, I dropped from 1.4k to about 4.5, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's that area is big. It puts me only like 20 points inside the top 10k, which, yeah, I don't think it's probably not worth it. I think the ownership of Arsenal mids is still going to be reasonably high this week, so I think I'm probably going to end up keeping Saka and Kane. Think I'm probably going to end up keeping Saka and Kane. If things go horribly wrong, like next week, if I'm still not sure on Haaland next week, I might just do Tony down to like a Greenwood. The only issue with that is then I have to play double Brighton midfield for a couple of weeks, which isn't ideal. But so yeah, the Haaland news is interesting. The Haaland news is interesting, but it doesn't impact my plans that much going forward. . For anyone who cares, apparently Rodrigo of Leeds is on the bench again. Apparently Rodrigo is on the bench again. Tavernier's name is Marcus. I've been calling him James. James Tavernier was someone else, wasn't it? Let me just check Team News and Ticks to see if they're tweeting anything about... No, it hasn't tweeted anything yet. Nope. Haaland injured for how long? We don't know that, and I think we're unlikely to hear that before the deadline. But we might. It sounds like it was quite touch and go for this week, to be honest. Sounds like it was quite touch and go for this week. Have I used Bench Boost? Yeah, Bench Boost is active for this week. Bench Boost is active. If I zoom out a little bit. Hi. Yes, Bench Boost. McAllister and Salah for Maddison and Odegaard. I wouldn't sell McAllister for sure. You can sell Chilwell for a Stupinan, which will give me enough money to buy Haaland in the future. Worth it. Love the content. I probably wouldn't. Like, if you need to do that move next week to do the Haaland move as well, then fine. But I don't think it's worth it for this week. I think I'd probably keep Chilwell for this week. Botman starts, right? I think so. Haven't heard any... Well, he's back in training. Yeah, back in training. He's been pitched in training. Eddie Howe said he's fine. He had food poisoning or something, but they've said he's fine. I'm just trying to see if there's any team news or anything yet on Haaland in particular. No, nothing yet on Haaland. I will keep you updated if we get it. But yes, Bench Boost is active. Should I sell Henry to Chilwell? No, I wouldn't. I don't think it's worth it. I think down the line, I think come game week 33, we're all going to be selling Chilwell anyway. Maddison or Bruno for the next three. Next 3 game weeks or next 3 games? Game weeks is... I would probably say Maddison, but I don't think he necessarily outscores Bruno by 4 points for it to be worth an additional transfer, so I would just go straight to Bruno. You need to find 0.1 somewhere. Yeah, when you get that 0.1 short, it is very frustrating. One sec. Cool. Was just adjusting my timings on something. Yeah, no Maddison is the thing in this team that I'm a little bit worried about. No Maddison and no Brighton defence, but yeah. What to do if you still have Haaland? It depends. Can you bench him this week, or if you're on bench boost, you probably need to sell him. Who to buy for Henry? I don't think I'm going to end up selling Henry this week, to be honest. So I think I'm going to probably end up keeping him. So I probably would advise to do the same. Sorry, I'm just trying to check some team news. No, I don't think it's reliable. Nope. Are these all confirmed transfers? So no, I still might make stuff before the deadline. Did I consider Kane to Isaac? Just because, I don't love Isaac's double enough. I don't love Isaac's double enough. And then I don't have Kane for Brighton at home, Bournemouth at home. I really like those couple of fixtures. I know Brighton are a good side, but I don't know if I trust them defensively yet. So, Yeah, that's basically where I'm at and basically what I'm thinking. Martinelli to Bruno for a free transfer, or Botman/Henry to Castagna. I'd probably do both. No, I wouldn't do the defender transfer, actually. I'd just do Martinelli to Bruno. I wouldn't bother with the Castagna transfer. Super chat. God, I'm having a... Maddison or Bruno for the next 3. Yeah, I said I'd probably just go straight to Bruno, to be honest. I said I'd probably just go straight to Bruno. Will Estupiñán play both? I think he probably will. Go for McAllister instead of Estupiñán. I could do like Saka to McAllister, but then I'm going to have to use up another transfer, getting one of them out to go to Salah, then having to bring in a Brighton defender. It looks fine for this week, but it doesn't look great long term. Ricardo Pereira or Zuma for Henry. Probably Zuma. Zuma for Pinnock for a -8. No. Like these defender transfers, I don't look at many defenders worth a -4 this week. I don't actually think Shaw's worth a -4 this week, but I think it pays off over the longer term. So I wouldn't worry about hits for defenders unless you think you need to do it for the longer term, which is why I might do Henry to Estupiñán still. We have 24 minutes to the deadline and we haven't had any leak of City team news. Nothing yet. Interesting. I thought we'd be... I still think we might get it. Okay. Saka to Maddison, happy to hear your opinion on it. I don't dislike it. I just think, like, I don't know whether it's worth the risk for me this week. I don't know whether it's worth the risk. Do I think he outscores him over the next 2? But then again, if I do it in game week 31, I have, like, game week 31, I either have Saka plus Kane or Salah and Solanke, or Salah and Solanke, I think. Who does Solanke play that week? Uh, 31. Yeah. So it looks great for this week, but I don't necessarily think it benefits me, particularly in game week 31. So I don't necessarily think the gains I get now are better than it would be. But like Saka and Kane in 31 is great, whereas Salah is good. Salah is still good because he has Leeds, but the other one is then Solanke. But do I think that it's worth a -4? Probably not. Who will I replace Haaland with from -4? Havertz, Isaac, or probably Solanke. Probably one of those 3 for this week. Rashford or Matoma captain. Rashford. And I'd start Estupiñán over Kane. Replacement for Ward on bench boost. Other keeper is Kepa. I'd probably go Neto of Bournemouth. Or it depends how much money you've got. You might want to pick a goalkeeper that's going to double in like 34. But the only issue with that is you don't have many choices. If you're looking for a keeper that doubles in 29 and 34. Brighton, which we don't want to do, really. Liverpool, like United, if you don't have De Gea, if you don't have Shaw, and then West Ham. But West Ham, we don't know who's going to be in goal. So you might just end up on Neto. My bench boost doesn't look solid. It's better than it's going to look at any point between now and the end of the season, though, I think. So I don't I don't hate it. It is what it is. Still, if you guys can let me know if Team News and Ticks tweets anything, that would be fantastic. We are now just 400 subscribers away from our target of 50,000 for the stream. There are also 2,800 of you in here, and only 800 of you have liked the stream. So if you could help me out, that would be fantastic. Put my best players on the bench. Yeah, I do try and work out exactly what my bench boost would look like though. So I think this is what my bench boost would look like. It's not great, but if I can try and hit 15, 16 with it, that's always the target, 16 points, because that's 2. If everyone had a double and everyone scored twice in their doubles, then it would give you 16. So that's always my target for it. Is Ward going to play? I don't think so. Raz, have I used my bench boost? My bench boost is active. My bench boost is active. Would I bring in United players if I don't have a free hit? No. So if I didn't have my free hit, I'd be focused more on Liverpool. Because Liverpool play in double this week, play 32, and double in 20 and 34 as well. So that's probably where I would be if I didn't have my free hit available. I am wondering about that additional move though, I have to admit. I have to admit. I thought we'd get something, at least him tweeting, I've got news, but yeah. Maybe servers crash, be careful. If the servers crash and I don't do it, like I'm so 50-50 about these moves. So is March a captain option this week? He can sometimes just, yeah. So March is actually, I think, my third captaincy pick for this week. I quite like him, especially given he played no minutes over the break as well. So yeah, I quite like March. If I was captaining a Brighton midfielder, I might end up on March, to be honest, but maybe I'll move these around. I think Fernandes becomes my vice captain, and the reason for it is because if Rashford doesn't play, then Fernandes is on like penalties and stuff as well. Am I at Chelsea Villa? Yes, I will be at Chelsea Villa this evening. Yes, I will. -4 of Bruno for Martinelli, or is it smart this week? I would do Bruno in for Martinelli for -4 this week. Yes, I would. Odegaard to Bruno for -4. Yes. So generally, a lot of the questions in the chat. Would I sell an Arsenal defender for a -4 to a Manchester United defender, or particularly Luke Shaw? Yes, I would. Would I sell a Arsenal midfielder to Bruno Fernandes for this week? Yes, I would. Would I sell an Arsenal midfielder to James Maddison this week? Yes, if it's not Bukayo Saka. At the moment, I'm erring on the side of caution in selling Saka, but I still think it's potential that I do that this week. But if I do that this week, then I know I'm going to sell Kane as well. So, yeah. Henry to Shaw for a -4. Yeah, I probably would do that. Again, it just helps you longer term. Watkins or Isaac for this game week? Watkins or Isaac for this game week? Probably Isaac. Where do I find possible future double game weeks? So I would use Ben Crellin on Twitter. I would use him because he predicts. To be honest, there's not that much left to predict this season, but this is what the prediction looks like. That's what the prediction looks like. So 36, 37, there are predicted to be doubles. Why not captain Matoma? Just because Brighton share the points out a lot. If you want to go Brighton midfielder for captain, then absolutely go for it. But they share the points around, so you could easily get very unlucky. You could also get really lucky with them and he gets all the points, but any West Ham player for the wildcard, maybe Zuma. But the issue is if you're on wildcard, you can't also bench boost, and that takes away the appeal of Zuma a little bit. Havertz or Isaac? Havertz. Havertz or Isaac? Probably Havertz for this week, but longer term you might want Isaac just because Havertz has got Champions League to try and compete with. So, I'm not sure Team News and Ticks has news. I'm not sure he's got anything. So, doesn't look like we're going to... Well, at the moment it doesn't look like we're going to get anything more on Erling Haaland before the deadline. So... Yeah, we'll wait and see. Like, they might still get something, but it doesn't look hopeful. Normally it comes in at 2:15. Normally it comes in at 2:15. But we'll keep an eye on it. Am I done my transfers? It's just whether I think Henry to a Stupinan is worth another -4. It's just whether I think that's worth another -4. I might end up playing Henry in 31 is the only thing. If I don't think Chilwell's going to start. And 31 is where we have away at Chelsea for Brighton. So Saka to Bruno for -4. Yeah, I probably would do that. Areola worth the hit? No, because Fabianski looks like he could be back either for the first game, if not the second game. And it might be that Areola's now first choice, but we don't actually know the answer to that. Do it. Go. On which? The Henry to a Stupinan move. -8 though. -8 though. The only other thing that I'm wondering is when they double in 36, 37, that's like 5 games that they play in the space of like a week and a half or like 2 weeks. That's a lot. Is a Stupinan going to start all of those? But I suppose that's a problem for later down the line. Not sure it's worth a Stupinan for Henry. No, but the issue is it's likely to be a -4. It's likely to be a -4 whenever I do it. So who do I think scores more this week, basically? You'd have to say the predicted points for a Stupinan is higher than that of Henry. You'd have to say. We have 12 minutes to go before the deadline. Thank you all. 3,200 of you in here. We're less than 400 subscribers away from 50,000 as well. So anyone who has just jumped in, we are trying to hit 50,000 subscribers. And if you hit that subscribe button, you can also chat, ask questions and stuff like that as well. You might not hit it today, but I appreciate all the support nonetheless. Also hit 1,000 likes as well. It's crazy. Will Akanji start? I mean, it's home to Liverpool. I don't necessarily want to be in a position where you have an Akanji, to be honest, but Chilwell in for Henry for -4, probably not. But I predict, unpopular opinion, but you predict that Maddison will underperform. Well, I hope so. I don't think I'm going to buy him. I think I'm going to keep Kane, and I think I'm going to keep Saka. I think I want them for the next couple of weeks. Any Haaland news? We have nothing left. Nothing yet, even. Nothing on Haaland yet. nothing on Haaland. Isn't my deadline clock off by 10 minutes? No. Deadline's in 10 minutes. 11 minutes. Deadline is in an hour. Oh, sorry, in 10 minutes. It's on the hour. Greetings from Uganda. Hello, welcome. Can't afford a Stupinan without making 2 moves to Haaland. Is Dunk an option? Yeah, Dunk is an option, and Dunk will not be a headache later down the line as well. Yeah, make sure your bench boosts are active. Please make sure you go and check that all your chips are active as well. If you are looking for captaincy, the captaincy does rotate around the top of the screen as well. It will come back in just a moment. Rashford is number 1. Maddison is 2. Doesn't look like we're getting anything. Doesn't look. We've got 10 minutes. Doesn't look like we're going to get any Manchester City news. To be honest, Bruno's overrated this week. Fair, but he's a good buy for the longer term because of what the next couple of weeks looks like. Rashford is out. Rashford is not out. Please, I know it's April Fool's, but let's keep the fake news to a minimum. Usual bench was last week, scored 19, and that saved me taking a -4 this week because I was leaving Zinchenko on my bench and play Botman. Fair enough. If you bench boost last week in a blank, I presume you mean the one before. The deadline clock is off by 10 plus minutes. Definitely not. Triple captain Rashford. I don't dislike it this week at all. Transfers I'm making for this week. Martinelli to Fernandes and Zinchenko to Luke Shaw as well. I'm surprised we haven't had Haaland news. I really am. I was pretty certain we were going to get it. I was pretty certain we were going to get it, but doesn't look like we're going to. In every deadline channel, everyone has different captains. Who's everyone else captaining? I know Oscar's captaining... Salah. Who's Ross captaining? Saka to Bruno for -4. I think it just benefits the team longer term. Guys, if you are claiming that you've got news on Haaland, please send it to me. But please don't just put it in the chat. Is this locked? Pretty much. Ross is captaining McAllister. Everyone's on different captains. Yeah, the stuff about Haaland is a troll. I've just seen it. Yeah, I've just seen it. Best 10 million striker. I mean, you probably come down to 7.5 million. To be honest, and go. Sorry, someone said that Team News and Ticks has tweeted. How long have we got? 7 minutes. Estupinan, let's go. Thing is, it's just going to be... The clock is off by 28 seconds. That's because there's a delay in the stream. That's because there's a delay in the stream. Bruno or Maddison. Bruno for the longer term. Why am I keeping Kane, can I ask? Because I want him for Brighton and I want him for Bournemouth. But it does mean that I get no Salah. But it also means I get to keep Saka. The thing is, if he didn't haul there, we'd be selling him. Just don't think I'm going to do it. It means next week I play Kane and Saka versus Solanke and Maddison, which is pretty close. Like, I'd probably rather Kane and Saka next week. And then 31 I have Kane versus Salah and Saka versus Solanke again. And I still think I back Kane and Saka in those. It's just whether this week do I think it's worth the massive hits. The app is crashing. We've got 5 minutes to go. Am I using bench boost? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Just don't think it's worth all the hits. Weekly reminder, you look like a young Tom Cruise. I appreciate that. I just think like a -16 is a stupid place to be. Yeah. Haaland news, we don't have any, and it doesn't look like we're going to get any either. Haaland didn't start. Doesn't. Oh. Haaland doesn't start. I don't think he'd ruin his reputation as well. Apparently Saka is benched according to Andy. Saka is out. Wait. He's benched. Andy said Saka's on the bench. I'm panicking. Andy's saying Saka is benched. Oh no. Andy does. Andy gets Arsenal news. But then I need to take a minus. No, but Andy's not trolling on that. Andy literally said. But then I have to take a -16. It's a -16. I'm going to do it. I haven't done the Henry transfer. I didn't want to do another one. I'm keeping Henry. I kept Henry. I didn't want to do another move. I didn't want to be on a minus 16. I don't think I want to be on a minus 16. But the moves go together, right? Because... why Solanke, good double this week, and he's cheap and he can sit on my bench. If Saka starts, like I almost did these transfers anyway. I know people in the chat are going to have a go at me, right? That's going to be the deadline as well. That's going to be the deadline as well. What have I done? Good moves, panic, do it. I think the game's updating. I'm not going to do the Estupiñán one. I just felt like a minus 60. The game's updating anyway. So, let me explain to you all what just happened and why I just took another... I panicked. I trust Andy as well. Like, if Andy's wrong, then that's absolutely fine. Like, I've done this myself. He has not forced me to do it. But let me talk through why I've done both Solanke and Maddison, right? It allows me to keep Maddison for the next two. Crystal Palace away and Villa at home, and then Bournemouth at home in 30. It then allows me to have money to do Maddison to Salah. It allows me to do Maddison to Salah in game week 31. And he's not sure. Like, it's done now. It is what it is. It is what it is. I like Solanke and I like Maddison for this week. I put the tweet out that I almost did it. And now I've done it. And he didn't take Saka out. Wow. Wow. And he kept Saka. Oh no. And you can also get Trent. Like it works long term. It does work long term. Like I can get Trent in, I can get Salah in. It all works. Like I almost did it anyway, even without the Saka news. Like I did think about doing it anyway, and then with a potential rumor that Saka wasn't going to start this week. So yeah, Andy sold Saka. Andy did take Saka out. You guys, what? You're making me panic now. It is what it is. Oh, but he sold Saka even before he sold Saka before we got the news. He sold Saka before he got the news. Do I regret doing it? Not really, but I need things to pay off very quickly. But the bench boost looks better. Has Solanke, well, it looks okay. Why not Salah today instead of Maddison? Maybe I should have gone there, but I have the money to do Maddison to Salah. Not this in 31 anyway, so I get Maddison for Bournemouth and for the double and for Bournemouth as well. Solanke gang, what's the Saka news? Apparently Saka's not starting, but it's too late. Sorry mate, but that one is surely April Fool's. No chance Saka is benched today. Arsenal front three. It could be Martinelli, Jesus, Trossard. Like it could be like too many hits this season. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but Kane Hall incoming. Trust yourself. Well, the deadline's gone.
I took a -12 for the first time, I think, ever playing this game. I'm going to go and get something to eat, and then I'm going to go and watch the Manchester City-Liverpool game, where we don't think there's any Erling Haaland. Then we're going to go and look at the 3 o'clock games where I have sold Bukayo Saka for a -4 to bring in James Maddison. Yep. Is Smith Rowe back? Is Smith Rowe back? But yeah. Anyway, that is going to be my team. Thank you all so much for... it's great if Saka gets benched, right? It's the right decision, I think, if Saka gets benched. But thank you all so much for joining. Sorry for the last minute panic. Sorry that I wasn't answering questions right up until the deadline. -12 was taken. It is what it is. Thank you all so much for watching. Good luck in Game Week 29. I don't really know what to say. I'll see you all very soon. Thanks, guys.